Hey everyone, welcome back to Brian's Mysteries and Adventures on Trail. Today we are going to be talking about the disappearance of Riley Strain, a University of Missouri student. He is a senior. He is 22 years old. He originally went missing on March 8th of this year, 2024. I'm sure many of you are already aware of him going missing. It's been highly documented in the media, but I know a lot of people don't watch the news. It's also been covered in TikTok and other social media platforms. What I want to do is just go over the information, help spread the word as well to hopefully help find him. Riley is 22 years old. He is 6 feet 6 inches tall with brown eyes and blonde hair. Being at that height should be an advantage. He should stick out more in a crowd because that's way over the average height for an adult male. Riley had traveled to Nashville with some of his fraternity members. He is a member of the Delta Chi fraternity. They had traveled to Nashville for their spring formal. The night that he went missing, he was out with his friends. They were basically bar hopping in the Broadway area of the town. Now I'm going to have various pictures and go over the events of the evening leading up to the last known sighting of him. He was out with some of his friends from the Delta Chi fraternity, maybe some other people they had met there. It's really unclear of how many people he was actually out with, but they were going from bar to bar. They eventually ended up at this one bar, which is called Luke's 32 Bridge, with the red dot there. Here's a picture of the outside, what it looks like during the daytime. Coming up, I'm going to have a picture at night, what it was looking like in that corner of Broadway where all these bars that they had been going to are. By the time they reached this bar, they were all fairly intoxicated. Riley was asked at some point by one of the employees at this bar to leave. They didn't say he was being belligerent. Bartenders, anyone who serves alcohol, can refuse to serve anyone for any reason. We do know that he ordered only one alcoholic beverage there and 2 bottles of water, which sounds like he was trying to sober up at that time. We don't know exactly. They felt that he needed to leave, so they escorted him out. According to the sources, for some reason they escorted him out the back door instead of the front door, which is what led to his friends becoming disoriented and not knowing where he was. Here's another picture of Riley. As you can see, very tall, good-looking young man, so he would definitely stand out in a crowd. On the night he disappeared, a female friend of his from back home texted him to see how he was doing. He wrote back, "Good lops, LOPS. That was his final text. She didn't understand it. She even tried looking it up on the internet to try and decipher it, but that was the last text communication from Riley. Then, around 9:52 p.m. that evening, Riley walked by a police officer that was responding to a car that had been broken into. Here's that clip.
How you doing, sir? I'm good. How are you? Good.
As you can see, the clip is very fast. To me, it sounds like Riley walks by and says, "Hey man," the cop says, "Good, how are you?" Riley doesn't appear to be stumbling. He seems okay. The cop just goes about back to his business, and that's the last we see of that body cam image. This all took place down on Gay Street, which is on the waterfront. There has been so much media coverage, it was hard to find the exact time, but from what I could dig through, it appears that his friends reported him missing roughly 4 hours after he disappeared from the bar that night. Sadly, a lot of this information wasn't shared with the family until almost over a week after he had gone missing, including the video footage I just showed you. Just this week, more security footage from around the city was released of him through various cameras. It's very fast footage, so what I did was I just did freeze frames. I'm going to show them to you now, talk about them, see what you guys can see. That's Riley there in the middle, the 2 women behind him, and then a group of people in front of him. This is the next frame. You see Riley again in the middle, those 2 women, the one with the cowboy hat still behind him. Now this next one is the one I find most interesting because this whole time he's sort of turning around, stumbling a little bit, but it looks like he's trying to find his bearings. When I froze this frame, it looks like at this point the 2 women stopped and the one with the cowboy hat might have said something to Riley. It looks like they might have had a small interaction. I'm wondering if those two women got in touch with the Nashville Metropolitan Police or if they have already been talked to. I have no idea. I couldn't find any information. But it's also noteworthy that in every one of the frames, they seem to be looking at him and going in the same direction as him. This is a later security cam footage that caught him, and he was actually running down the street in this picture. Obviously, you can't tell in the picture because it's a still frame. Another thing I found odd was that the initial security footage that we saw from the policeman's body cam seemed to be doing okay. He was walking straight, he spoke okay, but then through the other security camera footage, even though we don't have audio, it seemed like his condition seemed to get worse. And at one point in that one footage, he was actually seen running down the street. What was he running from? We just don't know. According to people that live in Nashville, they say that Broadway area is very popular for going out and partying and that kind of thing. But if you make a wrong turn, you can end up in a bad area. They believe that based on the footage, that instead of going one direction, unfortunately Riley went another direction. Based on the footage, he was going in the opposite direction of where his hotel was. He seemed to be headed towards the East Bank where the stadium is. I'm going to talk about more of that later. You do know that his ATM card was found. This part of the story I still can't believe, but I'm going to tell it exactly the way I heard it from the reporters. These two TikTokers that had never met before, whom were both following the case. This is the actual card, by the way. One morning, they just connected via TikTok, decided to go out and look for him. They went along Gay Street, they went down this embankment and found his card. These are some pictures that the news people shared. This is the area in which they found the card, which apparently was down a pretty steep embankment. These are just some other Google pictures of the various bridges in the area. What I can't believe is that these women met that morning and they just happened to find that card in that spot. I mean, in the whole city, yes, it had been reported that he was last seen crossing First Avenue North to Gay Street, so they did have an area to begin searching, as did the police. Of course, this made the police look bad in the eyes of many people because they had already searched that area. But honestly, we've seen this in hundreds of cases where an area has been searched, then people go back and they find things that weren't there. You just don't know. And the fact is that when they investigated the area, there was no sign of foul play. The two women apparently treated the scene very appropriately. They immediately took the card to the police, which is great. After a thorough investigation, like I said, there was no sign of foul play. There was no other evidence. There was no clothing. There weren't any footprints. It was a very rocky area, apparently. They had their air and ground teams go out and recover that area. They had a boat in the water along the shore searching that whole area up and down from the various bridges. That's why in this video I've included pictures of the various bridges, because I think that it is possible that he may have accidentally made his way over to the East Bank. Now, even though some of these bridges are supposedly only for cars, I'm going to have some pictures to show you that it is possible for pedestrians to go over. This is just another map of where he was last seen. This is a selfie of Riley. We really just don't have much more information. I'm going to show you another map coming up here. You'll notice that it's all in blue. That's just one of the Google Map features where you can go down and have a ground view. This is a map of the East Bank where the stadium is and the direction that he seemed to be going in when he was last seen. There have been reports of him passing by several homeless camps, and I just want to make it clear that that doesn't necessarily mean anything bad. A lot of time, homeless people are much more inviting and giving than just the average person. But yes, of course, there's also a danger element. It just depends on the type of people you run into. There was a report of one woman coming forward saying that she saw a homeless person wearing Riley's shirt, which at the time he was last seen was black on one side and cream and white on the other side. But again, this sighting cannot be confirmed. This is a picture of the James Robertson Parkway and Bridge. I don't know, supposedly foot traffic isn't allowed. I don't know if it's possible to walk across it. There's always a possibility he went down to one of the other bridges or got a ride from someone. If he lost his bank card, it's very plausible that he also lost his ID. I think the best we can do is keep sharing his story. Hopefully the right person will see this story on one of these videos or media outlets and come forward. I think if you are in the area and want to become involved in the investigation or search, you should contact the authorities or the family first, just so you don't accidentally interfere with their investigation. My thoughts and prayers go out to Riley Strain, his parents, his friends, his family, everyone who loves him, and hopefully he will be found soon. I will have all the information on the authorities, Crime Stoppers, different agencies you can contact if you are in the area or if you have any information that you feel will be helpful. The University of Missouri's campus police are aware of his disappearance. I'll have their information in the description as well. If anybody from his university has any information, they can contact the university police. I just hope and pray Riley is found safe soon. Riley is known to be a very kind, smart, loving person. I can't imagine what his family and friends are going through. I do believe there are people out there that know more than what they're sharing, and I just beg you to please come forward. You can always leave your tip anonymous. Like I said, I'll have that all in the description. Thank you for watching. Thank you to co.ag for providing the background music. Hopefully I'll see you next time. Take care. Hey everyone, thanks for sticking with me to the end. I just wanted to add a few more details. Riley was last seen wearing brown square-toe boots, blue jeans, the black and white button-up shirt seen in the missing flyer. Like I said, he is 6 feet 6 inches tall, roughly 165 pounds, with blonde hair and brown eyes. The Metro Nashville Police Department's phone number is 615-862-8600. Or you can contact any of the authorities, which I'll have listed in the description. I'm hoping at this time during the investigation, because it has been 2 weeks, I hope that they have expanded their search to include all the hospitals within a 250-mile radius. I also hope that they keep expanding the search, because it's quite possible he's no longer in the state. He might be disoriented, might have suffered some kind of injury. He might be trying to get home. He's probably without his cell phone. Let's just pray for them and hope for the best.